Two versions of Thunderbirds appeared on the Commodore 64. There was the 1989 Grand Slam version, which many may have been aware of, but also this 1985 Firebird Classic from the developer Kevin A. Morton, the same guy who also made a little game I loved back as a kid, Booty, also on the channel, but doesn't seem to be a favourable one amongst us Commodore 64 aficionados, even though it still brings back plenty of nostalgic memories. Thunderbirds was a game I actually played before I even knew about its parent TV show. It wasn't even on the Commodore 64, to be brutally honest, as I played this on an old ZX Spectrum in my mate's loft. I always thought he was the coolest kid around with his loft space bedroom. Then I realised he had a Specky. Never saw him again. FAB. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go. I don't remember any of the Thunderbirds shoving coloured boxes around on the weirdly dated but equally weirdly charming Thunderbirds, the Gerry Anderson classic TV programme. What I do remember though is the annoyingly smarmy presenter Anthea Turner showing us how to create Tracy Island from an empty carton of eggs, a washing up bottle, 3 spare buttons, and a crumpled up bog roll.
Cost you as much as £34.99p, but this one is created entirely from junk.
Ah, the 80s. I can almost guarantee that there's one person watching this now thinking,
I could never build that darn Tracy Island.
The game itself sees you take control of Thunderbirds 1 and 2, and you must continually escape some caves clogged with what appears to be some kind of Tetris block puzzle. After sitting through a multi-channel rendition of the Thunderbirds theme, you can choose from various extra materials to bring with you. The bricks are colour-coded to show which ships can push what. The blue ones by Thunderbird 1 and the green ones by Thunderbird 2, while the yellow blocks can be pushed by either ship. This does give the game its internal mechanic that makes sense from a gameplay standpoint, even if it doesn't make sense that Thunderbird 2 isn't able to push blocks that Thunderbird 1 can, seeing as Thunderbird 2 is a transport ship first and foremost, known for its moving and transportation skills, but let's just go with it. Basically, it's a puzzle game, so yeah, the main objective is finding out how to push the blocks so that you can get to the end. This is a good idea to be sure, but the thing is, it's possible to screw yourself over and get stuck without even realising it, leaving you with no other option but to wait out whatever time you have left until your fuel runs out, or rage quit and reload your game, whichever you have the patience for. It's actually kind of grim when you think about it. Granted, Sierra made a whole career out of making games that'd screw you over if you didn't do something in the very beginning correctly, so Thunderbirds is hardly the first or the last game to do so, but it is an odd choice for what is pretty child-friendly entertainment. Another limiting factor introduced to make the game a bit more difficult was the inability to swap control when the ships are on adjacent screens. It can take some time to fathom out what to do next, but for those of you who enjoy puzzle games, then this might be right up your street. A further complication is that the craft are obviously different shape. One's short and stubbly, and the other is long and thin, so quite often only one of them can fit through a particular passage. This means you may, for example, have to take one of the craft out of the screen through several others, then back to the first screen by a different entrance, so don't be afraid to explore. If you brought the equipment mentioned earlier, such as the weed killer, acid or explosives, then on certain screens these will automatically come into operation, making that particular section a little easier. This equipment comes at a cost however, and so once you've solved the game with them, you should try with fewer items on the next run. It was good to see Firebird acquire the license to this Gerry Anderson classic, but it always surprises me now when I think about the fact it was released on the Super Silver range. Does this mean they thought they messed it up? It might have been a bit less impressive graphically than some, but it arguably offers a very good set of puzzles. Might have even worked well as a co-op game when I think about it. I also liked the Thunderbirds are go speech sample and the graphic sequence at the beginning of the game,
Thunderbirds are go.
showing the craft blasting off. Mind you, I always did like speech samples in games for the Commodore 64, as it added to the enjoyment. I'd show these games off to friends and make them listen to the digitised SID chip churning out random noises, and I definitely can't forget my favourite. From Ghostbusters. A great game, which is also on the channel. Be sure to check that nostalgic banger of a game out too. Thunderbirds definitely has a charm to it that I think you will enjoy, so definitely get this fired up on your Commodore 64 and give it a whirl. But most important of all, the thing you have to remember above everything else, Thunderbirds are go.
Thunderbirds are go.
Thanks for watching guys, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and let me know what you thought of Thunderbirds in the comments section. Hopefully you'll continue with me on this epic journey down memory lane, and consider subscribing to the channel. Deeper we go into the Commodore 64 library, and every day we get that instant hit of nostalgia, so let's venture forth and see what else we can find. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, bye for now.
A thoroughly excellent vintage, Parker. Excellent, I say. Indeed it is, Stevens.